Well, we got some official confirmation on the X-Men titles and the schedule that we were speculating on last week. And not only that, some of these titles have definitely revealed some possible storylines they will be implementing from the comics. Let's go ahead and check out all the new titles, the classic TV guide format they delivered them in, and what comic storylines they seem to be dipping into this season. Let's break it down. Now before we do that though, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button and ring that bell for all the updates. We do daily Marvel and DC videos, and we want to be your place for all the superhero news, but we're going to bring it to you truthfully and transparently so you are in the know. Well, we have less than 2 weeks before X-Men 97 finally lands on Disney+. Fans have been anticipating the series for a really long time, and Marvel started dragging their feet to the point that a lot of us were starting to get quite frustrated. Now, since the trailer has dropped, they've been giving us a lot of details, and Marvel Entertainment actually dropped a peek at what looked like a classic cable television guide breaking down and confirming all the episodes in the season. Now, we already had heard that 2 episodes will indeed drop on March the 20th, with those being To Meet My X-Men and Mutant Liberation Begins. And it also confirmed the rest of the episodes, something we had reported several months ago. Now, when you go down this list, you see things like Fire Made Flesh, Montendo, Remember It, and Bright Eyes. But then 2 of the other titles, Life Death and Tolerance is Extinction, really invoke some stuff that happened in the comics. So let's talk about Life Death first. Now, if you're a fan of X-Men comics, you probably recognize this word, because it comes directly from a 1984 Uncanny X-Men by Chris Claremont and Barry Windsor Smith. Now, this happened in issue 186, and Life Death is basically a love story revolving around 2 characters that are in this season, Storm and Forge. Now, in the comics, it sees a recently depowered Storm visit Forge in Dallas, Texas, and the 2 bond over their mutual traumas. This totally calls into question whether we're going to see Storm lose her powers in the upcoming season and face a similar struggle in X-Men 97. Now, if you remember from the original show, they didn't shy away from some of these other comic events like the Dark Phoenix Saga and Days of Future Past, as well as some more contemporary stuff like Age of Apocalypse and the Phalanx Convention. So it is more than pretty cool to see them dive back into the comics themselves and help possibly bring fans from the screen down to the book. Now, the season ends with a 3-parter called Tolerance is Extinction, and you can totally tell from the trailer there's definitely going to be an anti-mutant vigilante campaign with a character known as the Executioner in the series. Now, there is a comic run from Grant Morrison called E is for Extinction, and many people are wondering if it's going to pull some aspects from that story. Now, in that story, the long-lost Master Mold AI and the Sentinel production facility uncovered a mysterious woman named Cassandra Nova. That's right, one of the villains from the upcoming Deadpool movie. And she uses the last surviving relative of Bolivar Trask to gain control of the Sentinels and massacre the entire population of Genosha. Now, we know we're going to Genosha this season, we know the Sentinels are going to be a big part of this, and we know there's definitely a faction of mutant haters looking to exterminate them, so there are many aspects of this story that could show up in the upcoming season. Now, an interesting sub-aspect of this comic series was a secondary mutation. Grant Morrison dove into the possibilities of mutants possessing multiple powers. This was sort of a long-standing tradition in X-Men books, but was never really addressed, and Morrison used Emma Frost's new diamond skin powers to serve as sort of a replacement for Colossus, and definitely peel back the probability of mutants continuing to develop more powers, which I could totally see being part of the upcoming season. Now, obviously, none of this is confirmed, but I feel pretty strongly Life Death is definitely pulling from that series, which could see the possibilities of Storm losing her powers. We've seen no teases of Cassandra Nova in the upcoming series, but with Professor X off-planet, I definitely wonder about her appearing and would serve as a really neat behind-the-scenes villain that's actually pulling all the strings while we're looking at Mr. Sinister. Now, obviously, we only have about 2 weeks to wait. We're going to get those 2 premiere episodes. I know you guys are pretty excited. I can't wait to see what the X-Men are going to bring us, and I really hope they dive into these storylines. I've linked them all down below. Some of them are in omnibuses, and sometimes you can pick up some individual issues, but I definitely recommend you read them both.